Never call me again. I have no money for you. But I've helped you in the past. I don't care. Don't bother me again.
Adaeze built her catering business the way most things worth having are built, slowly, with her hands. It started with small chops at neighborhood parties in Port Harcourt, puff-puff and spring rolls on borrowed trays. Then the oil company contracts came, then the society weddings, and by 2017 she was clearing 3 to 4 million naira a month. She had staff, she had a reputation, she had a younger sister in Lagos she was quietly keeping alive. Ifeoma had a dream and very little else. For 3 years, the calls came monthly, sometimes weekly. Fabric money, rent, a broken sewing machine. Each time, Adaeze sent what was needed without keeping score, or so she thought. Over 3 years, 8 million naira left her account and traveled south to Lagos. She never mentioned it. She told herself that's what elder sisters do. Then 2018 arrived like a slap. A major client cancelled a 15 million naira contract after Adaeze had already purchased all the ingredients. The supplier refused a refund. Staff salaries were due. Her children's school fees were past due. She was drowning in numbers that didn't add up no matter how she rearranged them. She called Ifeoma. "Sister, I need help. Just 2 million naira alone. I'll pay it back in 3 months." The pause on the line was its own kind of answer. "Adaeze, I don't have that kind of money. You know I'm struggling." "I've sent you over 8 million naira in 3 years. I'm not asking for all of it. Just 2 million naira. Ifeoma's voice cooled completely. "That money was a gift. You sent it because you wanted to. Don't use it to guilt me now. That's manipulation." Adaeze sat with the word manipulation for a long time after the call ended. She turned it over, looking for herself in it, and couldn't find her reflection. She borrowed from loan sharks at 30% interest instead. 2 years of her life went into paying it back. 2 years of scraping, shrinking, surviving. The catering business never fully recovered. Neither did the relationship. In 2020, a celebrity wore one of Ifeoma's dresses to an event, and everything changed overnight. Orders flooded in, magazines called, invitations to fashion weeks in Accra and Johannesburg appeared in her inbox. Within a year, she was earning 10 million naira monthly. She never called Adaeze, not to say thank you, not to offer help, not even to acknowledge that there had been a before, years when her rent was paid and her machines were fixed by someone who asked nothing in return. Their mother died in 2022. At the funeral, Ifeoma arrived in a Range Rover with fashionista friends trailing behind her. She wore designer clothes and contributed 1 million naira to the burial arrangements. Adaeze, still carrying the weight of debt from 4 years earlier, contributed 200,000 naira, everything she could manage. Extended family whispered the way extended family does. Ifeoma is the successful one. Adaeze must have mismanaged her business. Ifeoma gave a speech. She spoke about their mother's strength, her independence, the values she'd instilled in both her daughters. "She taught us to be women who stand on their own," Ifeoma said, her voice steady and practiced, "who don't depend on anyone." Adaeze sat in the front row and listened. She waited for her name. It never came. After the burial, Ifeoma found her briefly in the crowd. A quick hug. "Take care of yourself, sister." Then the Range Rover pulled away and Adaeze stood in the dust of the compound watching it go. She understood something then that she hadn't let herself understand before. Some people carry the memory of every favor they've given, like a debt others owe them, and carry the memory of every favor they've received, like water, held loosely, soon gone. Adaeze is 43 now. The catering business is stable. Her children attend regular schools, not the private ones she'd once planned for. She doesn't talk much about 2018. Ifeoma is 38. Her fashion brand is valued at over 500 million naira. On Instagram, she posts motivational quotes to 200,000 followers. "Build yourself without waiting for anyone. Cut off what doesn't serve your growth." And her followers call her an inspiration. None of them know about Adaeze. One evening, Adaeze's teenage daughter looked up from her phone and asked, "Mommy, Why is Auntie Ifeoma so successful and we are still struggling? She started with nothing. Adaeze looked at her daughter for a long moment. She didn't say she didn't start with nothing. She started with me. She didn't say it because some truths are too heavy to hand to a child. She said, work hard, my daughter, and be kind. Those two things together, they matter. What she kept to herself was the part she was still learning, that kindness given freely is not the same as kindness that will be returned. The two things look identical when you're giving. You only find out the difference later.